Zach Ewing, Trevor Horn back on BVarsity Live here at the downtown Californian studios in beautiful downtown Bakersfield. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right?
Hey, man, 3-4 weeks ago, this city was absolutely gorgeous. Right after that big snowstorm and the rain came through, Kern County looked as beautiful as it ever has.
And we're going to have rain on Saturday and Sunday, too, so we might get that again. But it is really nice out there right now for the wrestling tournament. CIF State Executive Director Roger Blake is here with us and enjoying the weather, too.
Happy to be here. And have you not been outside, you guys? Let's see. The trees are all in bloom.
Yeah. No,
purples, pinks, and oh my! It's
it's kind of a treat
right
coming,
now.
and it's kind of a treat coming down 99 because you do get a lot of the orchards that are in bloom right
and
now.
it hasn't been green in years. Which listen, living in Bakersfield, self-deprecation becomes like a defense mechanism, and so you have to sort of have that. But no, I really do enjoy downtown Bakersfield, and Rabobank will be sparkling this weekend, I'm sure. Have you been over to the arena yet?
No, I just got into town and came straight to visit with you guys.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah. Boom, that's my boy.
But the mats are already set up and rolled out, and I'm sure they're cleaning them thoroughly right now.
They will be. In fact, that's one of the protocols we were kind of talking about earlier. Stuff. The mats will get thoroughly cleaned all the time during the event. And what people don't always recognize during the event, sometimes, kids will have a bloody nose. The mat gets stopped. The mat gets cleaned. Just like if you're watching the NBA game and all. They take these things extremely serious, and we should and we have to. That's part of the deal. This is high school sports. It shouldn't matter what level, but it's high school sports. That's our job. We need to take care of kids.
Absolutely. We only have a few minutes left with you. Changes on the horizon. I know a few years ago we started state swimming championships, I guess, last year.
Yep.
Is there anything else on the horizon?
Section.
Yeah, baseball, softball, I heard a couple years ago, could be in the hopper. Is that still in the works?
Well, I think the biggest thing we're looking at right now before baseball and softball is the schedules, the timing of our championships. We're wrestling this weekend, perfect weekend. We're right at the transition to spring sports. But our basketball championships aren't till December 25th, 26th. They're toward the end of the month.
March.
I'm sorry. Boy, was I off. March. December, yuck. It's really a long season. It's too long. We need to shorten up our seasons. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe we just need to match our seasons to our school calendars. Schools didn't used to open, at least when and probably when you guys were there, till after Labor Day.
I know you're going with this.
Yeah.
That's a dicey.
We're going to be moving. We're looking at moving the calendars.
No.
Good try, though, Trevor.
Yeah, nice one. You're not going to play football the first week in August in Bakersfield, man. No way.
Really? Then tell me how. Tell me how in the second weekend.
This is in Alaska.
Really? Okay. Now here's our geography expert. Tell me then how the state of Nevada and Arizona. How are they playing on August the 15th their football seasons? When let's see, Phoenix.
At 3 o'clock in the morning.
I think Phoenix gets a little warm too. The body's an amazing thing. It can adapt to most anything. Acclimation to heat and temperature. With your thought process, the kids in the Central Valley, the kids over in Palm Springs, Palm Desert, they'd never play outdoor sports, Trevor.
I just don't want to cover 100-degree football
now it comes
for
out.
2 months.
Now it comes out. It's about Trevor being on the sideline, not about the kids playing a game that they love. Well, football is a great example. We play football championships, the state championships, the weekend before Christmas. That's insane. How come 48 other states in the United States have figured out how to move their schedules up so they're not playing it that weekend?
So your thought process is to start high school basketball then, much like college basketball starts
at the beginning of November.
At the beginning of November.
Middle of November. Because if you look at your schedules now, all of our high schools across the state, they're starting that weekend before Thanksgiving now with basketball. And basketball maybe it only needs to move a week. What really has to move is our championships. We need to be looking at, if you move the back end, then how does that affect the front end? And you don't have to move the back end in all sports. Wrestling's, I think, a great example. Does wrestling need to be earlier? I don't think so.
No, just football and basketball really need to be moved.
Well, and that kind of gets back to our spring sports, and you brought up baseball and softball. I don't believe the principals of 1,576 high schools in California are going to vote to have baseball and softball championships being played at the end of June when 93% of the high schools in California are graduating before June the 6th. 92%. They don't want to have their kids coming back after that to be participating in championships. So we need to look. It's one size won't fit all. We just have to figure out how do we adjust that. And we haven't fixed our athletic calendars to match our school calendars. Our school calendars have changed. Our sports calendars need to change too.
So in other words, that step has to be taken before you would tackle a potential baseball or softball.
I believe that if we put out a proposal now to start a baseball and softball championships, principals across the state, superintendents would look at that and go, Well, we couldn't have it until June. This is a date I'm making up. June the 25th. My school graduated on May the 25th. No, we're not voting for this.
Right.
So we need to fix the calendar.
A lot of people, I'm from out of state, and a lot of people don't understand California's section system. And it's very political, it's geographical, but it's also political, and there's different sizes, obviously. That you cannot compare the southern section to the Oakland section. You just can't do it in no way, shape, or form. It's not going anywhere, though, is it?
No. We formed this way 102 years ago now. It's not perfect. We are one of only 2 federations in the United States. We need to continue to modify it. We need to continue to adjust as society has adjusted, as our schools have adjusted. We need to keep fixing our rules to fit the educational model of today, because so many of our rules, and this is a controversial statement, so many of our rules were formed in the 40s, 50s, and 60s when every school was a brick and mortar school. Mm-hmm. That's not the educational model that survives in today's educational world. Families have choices. They expect to have choices. And that's the part we have to continue to evolve with. And if we don't, we're not serving the almost 1.9 million high school kids of California. If we don't continue to evolve, we're not serving them their best
part
interests.
Of that when you talk about where some kids may be going to an educational institution, solely based on maybe they have a musical interest, but then they're allowed to play academic or athletically at the neighboring high school and that type of thing. When you talk about brick and mortars,
right? Because so many school districts we've learned as educators, just everybody sitting in nice, neat little rows in a classroom doesn't fit. One size doesn't fit all. So we've come up with all these different ways to educate kids. And they still want to have a comprehensive ability to education, including athletics.
Right.
So that's why we have to come up with how do we allow these kids and have opportunities for these kids to participate. Come on, they're 15 and 16-year-old kids. Only 2% go on to the next level, to college. 98% of our kids, they're just having fun playing the sport that they love. It's our job to try to create ways to allow them to do that.
That's great. Well, Roger, listen, we love having you here. We love how open you are about things and willing to answer questions for us. And
it'll cost you later.
I know there's a lot. Well, I was going to ask you, is there any way, in my last request, maybe Saturday night after everybody's gone, that Matt's still out there, 4-man wrestling tournament with you, Al Goldberg, Ron Nichetti, and Brian Seymour.
Oh, yeah, I don't want to see that. No. You can get those guys out there, but you don't want me
maybe T-shirt and shorts instead of singlets. But
yeah.
No. The one competition I want to see Alan is next year when we go back to Visalia, and he's going to eat a 2-pound burger at
Well,
Sequoia
he took a good
Brewing
attempt
Company.
at it this year, so...
Yeah.
He'll do it. He says he'll do it. Okay, hey, we're going to take a break on BVarsity Live, and unfortunately we have to say goodbye to Roger. He's got business to attend to over at Rabobank Arena and elsewhere. And we hope you enjoy your stay in Bakersfield. Thanks again for being here, and enjoy the tournament.
Thanks for having us here, Bakersfield. You're a great host. We love it.
And we will be back. We're going to talk a little more state wrestling tournament, and then we're going to have Ridgeview basketball in the house and Bakersfield High girls basketball to talk about their section finals after this.